Good afternoon everybody and welcome to my channel. My name's Elaine and I'm Ellie Welly Stitcher, both here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. And hello, welcome to my end of year WIP parade. So happy new year to everybody. It's New Year's Eve and it's that time of year when I come on and do my WIP parade, as do lots of other Flosstubers. So if you've come to watch mine, I really appreciate it, because I know there's an awful lot of other ones out there worth watching as well, which is like loads to watch, which is brilliant because I love watching a WIP parade. And I haven't watched hardly any so far, but I have got quite a lot on my list to go back and watch, so really looking forward to that. So here we are with what I've done over the year, this year, and where we are currently sitting. So I've done a few stats. What I haven't done is I haven't done percentages and things this time, just because I haven't had time to do it, to be honest. And I don't think I've moved my full coverage forward enough to really worry about it. There hasn't been masses and masses of progress. Anyway, I digress. So here we are on the last day of 2025, and let me get on with showing you my WIPs. So just to start off with, so I started 2025 with 29 WIPs and I finished 2025 with 30. So actually I'm pretty pleased with that. I am pretty pleased with that. It's not too bad at all, is it? So within that, I have had this year 21 finishes, which is pretty good going for me. So I will run through them quickly, but I did have some feedback on my last WIP parade that I hadn't shown all of my finishes, and I did go back and explain to the viewer that I didn't want to make my videos too long, and at the end of the day it's a WIP parade and not a finished parade. So what I have done, which I hope will satisfy that particular viewer, I'm going to show you all my WIPs because this is a WIP parade, and I will show you the finishes at the end. So I've taken some of them are hanging up in my house, and like there's one big one and I don't really want to take it off the wall, if I'm honest, so because it was a bit of a faff getting it straight when I put it up there. So I will just put in a little bit of film at the end showing you all of my finishes, but this is a WIP parade and so I am going to show you my works in progress rather than the finishes. But just to touch on the finishes, so this year I did have 21 finishes. 12 of them were small ones. 12 of them were the sheep calendar from Lotus Lake Stitching. So I will show you all of those at the end. I also completed Campfire PG from Long Dog Samplers, Floral Etchings 2, Something Wicked, Shoe, Twilight Moon, Munro, Clovis, Chubby U, and Salem Sisters Apothecary. So I'm literally just going to run through them right now. If you want to see what they look like as a finish, and some of them are not fully finished, then, you know, stay on and watch at the end. But this is just WIPs now. Right, so I have put them in chronological order. So we will start with the oldest and finished with the most recent WIP, and let's get into it, shall we? Let's do it. Some of these have not been out for quite a while. I think I've had a quick look back and I have got 2 WIPs that I haven't worked on at all this year. I've got one WIP which is a bit of a question mark as to whether I'm going to continue with it, and if you watched my last update video a few days ago you'll know which one that is, but everything else that I'm very happy with, and I have no intention of not finishing. Right, let's go. I haven't undone zips, so I do apologise in advance for anybody wearing earphones who finds it a bit annoying when you open a zip. So we'll start off with my oldest WIP, and this is full coverage. I started this on the 1st of January 2021, so it is now 4 years old. I still like this WIP. I have stitched on it a little tiny bit this year, not very much, but a little bit. So this is by, the artwork for this one is by Randall Spangler. It's So Many Books, So Little Time, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I will put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished. This is the mini of this, and here I currently am with it. So I did have it out at the early part of this year because I looked at it and thought, oh yeah, I haven't had that out for a long time. I need to get back to that. So so this one I'm sitting on about 24-25% for this one. I'm stitching this on 25 count easy guide. And this is 1/1 full cross, and here we are. So I do have the little dragon, and I have started on the top book. There was quite a lot of confetti in this like stonework around here. I still like this project. I do still want to finish it. I just haven't got around to it basically, but I will get back to it. There's a few threads hanging on this one because I do park the odd thread here and there. I used to do full parking method. I don't do that anymore. I prefer cross country if I'm honest, but I do park the odd thread now and again. So that's where we are with So Many Books. And I think it came out for a bit of stitching, maybe for 2 or 3 times over the last year, and it was right back at the beginning of the year, and I haven't stitched on him since. Yeah, I really need to get back to stitching on him. We all say that though, don't we? We all say that. So there I am with So Many Books. My fabric's getting a bit grubby, so it's a good job that it gets washed at the end, isn't it, really? Okay, so that is So Many Books, and I'm stitching that in the called for DMC. Right, that's that one. Now I've got these out. I've got piles. That sounds a bit bad, doesn't it? I've got piles of WIPs everywhere, and I've just got to remember. I just don't know where I'm going to put them all now. Now that once I've shown them, we'll put that one up there for the minute. Right. My second oldest WIP. So I've got like a bucket thing down here with some of them in, and then I've got more behind me on this chair over here, and more down there. So they're a bit everywhere. Okay, so my second oldest WIP, I started this one on the 26th of January 2021. So again, it is, well, coming up for 5 years old, isn't it? But still, never mind. And I've had this one out quite recently. You saw this on my last Flosstube actually. I have stitched on this one a bit this year, and I think on my last end of year WIP parade I did say I was going to finish this one this year. Didn't quite happen, but still, never mind. Right, so this is a Fancy Lady. So this is one of only 2 Fancy Ladies that I've got. So this is by Mirabilia, and it is Lady of Mystery. Here is what she looks like when she is finished. So she is really, really lovely, really lovely. I kid you not, this skirt is big. It is big. And I've finished all the top half of her, this bit here, you'll see in a minute anyway. And I am working on this great big skirt at the moment. So that's what she looks like when she is completed. And with this one, I am doing all the, I'm not beading as you go. So even when I finish all the cross stitch, I've still got to go back and bead. So, although I like beading, I find beading quite therapeutic actually. Okay, so here she currently is. She's a big girl, this one. So here we are with her. So as you can see, I have done quite a lot on her. She's stitched on 28 count Saga fabric in the, it's an even weave, in the colourway cream. And I am stitching her using all the called for colours, which are predominantly DMC, but there are a couple of Karen water lilies in this. And with her, the water lilies, weirdly enough, are like in the trellis, and then they're in her hair as well. But I kind of misread the chart and ended up not stitching her hair in the water lilies, and I stitched it in the wrong shades of brown. But if I'm honest, it doesn't really matter. I still like her as she is. So you know, I'm not going to stick my neck on the line and say she's going to be a finish this year, but it would be good if she was. It would be good. So that's where we are with my Lady of Mystery. Right. I'm going to have to fold them up and put them away because it's going to be in a bit of a hot mess in here anyway by the time I'm finished, I would imagine. And it's likely to be in even more of a hot mess like once I've finished filming, I would say. Okay, I think I'm going to put them down there just for ease actually. Right, the next one, now if you do watch my update videos, you do see this one fairly frequently. So this is full coverage. So this one's by Painfree Crafts. The artwork is by Chris Dunn, and this is Feast. I'll put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished. And here I am with it at the moment. So I haven't done masses on this one this year. I'm still only sitting on 22%, and I started the year on 19%. So not that much has been done on this. I am going to try and make this a bit more of a focus piece next year, because I really, by the end of next year, would at least like to have finished across to the other side. So I will set myself that goal, I think, for the year. So this is stitched on 28 count easy guide. So So Many Books is on 25 count, and I started my full coverage stitching on 25 count and then found that I preferred 28. So this one is 28 count easy guide, and I'm stitching this one 1/1 full cross, which it suits because it is quite confetti heavy, this chart. But you know, it is super, and it is well worth it. It's just a super picture, and I can't wait to finish it one day. But I think we're a while off of doing that. But there we go. And the nice thing about this as well, so I've got another animal coming in over here now, which is quite exciting. You know, the squirrel, I think, when I will put my pictures in of where you saw this at the end of my last end of year WIP parade. I meant to say that at the beginning actually, sorry. Not very organised, am I? Yeah, so I will put the pictures in, hopefully, of where you saw things at the end of 2024, so you can see visually what my progress has been over the last year. So yeah, so that squirrel, I'm pretty confident wasn't there at the like at the beginning of the year. So yeah, so there we are with Feast. Okay, so next one. Now these ones, I think I am going to have to put them I'm going to put them on over here, actually. Right, so next one is not full coverage. So this one I've had hanging around for a long time. So I started this one on the 27th of August 2021. So again, you know, we're still on 2021. I've got a few WIPs from 2021. It was like a year when I just wanted to start all the things. And we were still like in the back end of COVID, and I had a lot more time to start and stitch things, whereas obviously I don't so much now because of work and one thing and another. Right, so this is by the Primitive Hair, and it is Old Salem Broom Company. Here is what it looks like when it's finished. I have stitched on that this year a few times actually. I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the end of last year. And here I am with it now. So yeah, so I have done a bit more on this one this year. Quite a bit more still left to do on this though. So this is stitched on 30 count Old Salem by the Primitive Hair, and I am stitching this using both the called for colours, which are both gentle art colours. One is called Raven, and I think the other one's called Pumpkin or something like that. But yeah, it's predominantly Raven. And I stitched the witch and her cat on the broom in, I stitched that 2/2, sorry. And the wording and the broom that I've done underneath, I've stitched that 1/2. Purely because I really wanted the witch to stand out, so and have that, I just wanted it to look a little bit more textured. So I did the witch 2/2, and then I've done, like I say, and I am going to finish the wording in the border 1/2 is my plan for that one. So that's where we are with my Old Salem Broom Company. And I do still like that project, and I am still very happy stitching it, because for any of you that know me, you know I like a bit of Halloween stitching in particular. Okay, so that's that one. Put that there. Next, okay, this one. So I've had this one out relatively recently as well, actually. So this one I started on the 29th of December 2021, and I started this along with Crafting Kirsty. So we are at the end of my 2021 WIPs now. So at the moment I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 WIPs that I'm carrying over from 2021. I would like to think I might finish this one next year, but you know, famous last words. Anyway, this is by Our Forest Embroidery, and it is the black vintage sampler, and I have stitched on this a few times this year. I will put a picture in of where I ended the year with it last year. And here I currently am with it now. So this, I've done quite a bit on this year. So I finished that big house and the man and the lady, and yeah, so I've done a bit. I'm stitching this one on 32 count silver grey by Saga, and I am stitching this 2/2 using a beautiful variegated black into grey, which is called Ampersand, and it's by Cottage Garden Threads. So yeah, so that's where I currently am with this one. So yeah, really pleased with how that one's coming along. And this is a popular chart, this one. Lots and lots of people have stitched it, so I'm sure you've seen that one lots of times. I would like to finish it this year, but it depends what I get. You know, I get distracted by all the other pretty things, so it might not be. Who knows? I need to remember to try and not keep unzipping things and zipping things up. Right, now the next one. I'm a bit ashamed of this one actually. So this one I started on the 25th of March 2022. Oh, so if I carry it into March next year, it's going to be 4 years old, which is a bit of a travesty really, because, you know, it's not the biggest chart in the world, this one. But it's kind of, this is my outside in the garden type stitching, to be honest. So this is a Mill Hill kit, and it is Honeybee, this one. Hopefully I'll put a picture in of where you saw it at the end of last year. And this is where I currently am with it now. So I have had this one out this year a few times actually, and done a little bit more on it. But yeah, I've been stitching on this for a very long time. This chart's even been on holiday to the States with me. I think I took it to Italy with me. So it's quite well travelled, this WIP, because it is quite a nice one to take away because it's small and you don't need magnification to see it because it's perforated paper. It's just, you know, quite easy to stitch on. So I have done a bit on this year, but I've still got quite a lot to do. So there we go with my little Mill Hill kit. Okay. So next one. Now I have stitched on this year, but I haven't had it out for quite a while, actually. Quite a while. So I started this one as a stitch along with Crafting Kirsty and my friend Janet, who's Janet Dodd on Instagram. And this is by GGR, and it's a big sampler, this one. So I started this 2nd of May 2022, and this is what it is. It's not what it looks like when it's finished. This is the original sampler. So this is Morris Dancer by GGR, and I mean, it's a smashing chart, this. I just don't get round to stitching on it enough, that's all. Okay, I have not had this out for quite a while, but I have had it out this year. So I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the end of last year. And here I am with it now. So basically all I've done with this year is I've finished some of the leaves on the big tree in the middle, and I've put in this person here. Is what I've done. So yeah, I'm stitching this on 36 count Edinburgh linen, and this is a piece of fabric that I dyed myself specifically for this piece. I don't dye fabric very often, but I do enjoy it when I do it. I'm stitching this using the DMC conversion mostly, with the exception of these cherubs up here stitched in peach cobbler, and I did use that colour for those, but the rest of it, Kirsty's actually finished this and it looked magnificent finished, so I need to get back to mine at some point. I really do. And like I say, I do enjoy stitching this one when I get it out and get going on it. So that's where we are with Maria. No, not Maria, the Morris Dancer. It's because she's adapted from Maria Cooper's sampler. Right. Okay, now we have another sampler. Oops. I have worked on this one this year as well. So I started this one on the 15th of May 2022. And this was the result of me watching Carol the Saltbox Stitcher, and she showed the finish of this, and I just loved it and decided I wanted to stitch it. So this one's by the Scarlet House, and this is Charlotte Frost 1846. This is what it looks like when it's finished. And I loved it. I loved the house. I loved obviously the sheep on it because I do enjoy a bit of sheep stitching. I really, really, really liked this chart. Look at that lovely, great big house. There's a lot of grass here as well, people, to stitch. A lot of grass. So yeah, so that's what it looks like when it's finished. I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the end of last year. And here I am with it now. So this year I have gone down and started the grass, and I've put in the shepherdess, and I've started, the shepherd's got like from the waist downwards is done, and I put the little sheepdog, I presume that's what it is, in the middle there. So this is stitched on the called for, which is 37 count corn tassel by Access Commodities Legacy Linens, and I am stitching this in MPIs, needlepoint silks, and they are the called for colours, and they're just glorious. I really like them. So that's where we are with Charlotte. So when I'm in the mood for a bit of bulk stitching in green, that's what I'm stitching at the moment. Lots and lots of grass. Okay, and then we have and full coverage. So you've seen this one recently because I did show it to you on my last WIP update. So this is charted by Painfree Crafts. The artwork is by Stanley Morrison. This is Blackberry Dragon. I will put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished. And also where you saw it at the end of last year at my WIP parade then. And this is where I am with it now. So I've completed exactly 30% on this chart. Exactly 30%. No, exactly, yeah, it is, I think. I've done 30,000 stitches anyway, exactly 30,000 stitches overall on this piece. And I think that is 30% because the whole piece is 100,000 stitches. This is stitched on 28 count easy guide, and I'm stitching this in DMC, and it is 2 over 1/10 stitch or half stitch. So that's where I currently am with my dragon. So it's nice stitching this one. There is a bit of confetti, there was in that moon, and there is in the dragon's face, but all of that outside border and that is really easy stitching. So, and the green wings are not too bad either actually. So yeah, so that's where we currently are with Blackberry Dragon. And I started this one on the 1st of June 2022, and I did this as a start along with Darren, who is Dizzy Stitcher. Okay, so that's where I am with that one. Right, the next one, back to samplers. I had a really big year for samplers in 2022. It was kind of like, I think I had a bit of an epiphany where I suddenly discovered that I really, really enjoyed samplers. And I just wanted to start them all. And they weren't, none of them were little ones. They were all big ones. So this one is, I'm not sure, I think this is the biggest of them all actually. So this one was a start for crafting Kirsty's birthday. So I started this on the 8th of July 2022, and I started this along with Kirsty and Rachel, who is Stitchy Rach. And this is Maria Coaria, I think that's how you say it, 1833 to 1834, which is by Queenstown Samplers, and this is a Portuguese sampler, or as we affectionately called it, the Wonky Donkey sampler. So there it is, complete. It's a real biggie, this one, but it's a real fun stitch as well. So I am stitching, I'll put a picture in of where you saw it at the end of last year. And I'm not sure if it was last year that I didn't stitch on this. No, I did stitch on this a little bit last year. I think it was the year before I didn't stitch on it at all. But I have a little bit this year. Not masses, but a little bit. So I'm stitching this on 40 counts Newcastle linen, and this is where I currently am with it. So yeah, so I stitched that windmill there, and I've moved on to the next bit, which is, I'm not sure what the next bit is. Sorry if you can hear that noise. It's the man. I'm stitching the man next to the windmill, or the miller, I'm guessing he is. I'm stitching this using mostly the DMC conversion, except there are a couple of greens in this, which for the DMC conversion, it uses the same colour green. So I did actually swap them out and swap in the MPIs just for those two greens, so I could have a differential between the two. So I haven't done an awful lot on this, but it's quite a lot of stitching, this one actually. It is quite a lot of stitching. So yeah, so that's where we are with Maria. And I don't know if I'll ever finish that one, if I'm honest, because it is big. Maybe it's a retirement project. But I do like stitching on it from time to time. So that is Maria Coaria. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably wrong. Okay, right. Oh no, now my pal's starting to fall across the floor. Next, so next one is another sampler, and I've forgotten to get the picture out for this. I'm just going to pause you a minute. Right, sorry about that. I just realised that I didn't have the picture out of not what this looks like when it's finished, but the actual sampler. So this one is by Reflet de Soie, and it is Louisa Barney 1892. So it's another massive sampler. This is what it looks like. I mean, it's just glorious, this. Just glorious. Now, I think this is one of two projects that I have not stitched on this year. And not for any good reason, except I just haven't got round to it. But I don't think I've stitched on this year. I started this one along with Contented Needleworker Kim. She sold this. Kim has finished hers and it looks wonderful. I am like miserably behind with mine. So this is stitched on 36 count. I think it's called French blue. It's or something like that. It's this is why I got linen, and it suits this project, I think. Hopefully I've put in a picture of where you saw this last time, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't stitched on this year. That border is a bit massive, actually. It is. And it's quite good because it's so unusual. So, you know, it's not repetitive, but it does take a massive amount of stitching. It really does. But look, it is pretty. It is really pretty. So, yeah, so I can't remember if Stuart's in Stitches calls it eating your veg, but making sure you do like your borders first before you get into the meaty stuff. So I'm still very much eating my veg with this project, but I do like it. It's not going to be a UFO. I just haven't got around to stitching it this year. And I started that one on the 2nd of September 2022. So 2022, like I say, was definitely my sampler year. Okay, right, but not entirely, because the next project is not a sampler, and I did start it in September 2022. So this one I started along with my friend Teresa Little Stitcher. We started this on the 17th of September 2022. This is my only other fancy lady. Really popular chart, this one. So this is by Bella Filipina, and it is Greta Goldbroom. This is what it looks like when it's finished. She's a super, super lovely witch. And hopefully I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the end of last year. I have had this one out this year. Not very much, but I have had it out. I think much earlier in the year I had it out. So here I am with it now. This is stitched on a 32 count even weave. No, 32 count linen, I think it is. Is it even weave? Anyway, it's 32 count, and it's from Chromatic Alchemy, and it's who is not trading anymore, in the colourway Cirrus. But it is a beautiful fabric. And I am stitching this using all the cord for. So yeah, that's where I am with Greta Goldbroom. So she's miles off being finished. But still, doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter. I like stitching her, actually. And Teresa's a bit further ahead with it, I think, than I am. So yeah, so that's where we are with that one. Oh, I've forgotten to put my chart back for Louisa. Having forgotten to get it out in the first place, I've now forgotten to put it away. That's useful, isn't it? Right. Next, so final project that I started in 2022. Oops. So, and I have had this one out recently as well. So this has been stitched on this year. So this is The Christmas Witch by Kathy Barrick. This is what it looks like when it's finished. And it's deceptively big, this chart. Deceptively big. I will hopefully put a picture in of what it looked like at my end of year WIP parade last year. And this is what it looks like now. So here we go. So I'm stitching this one on 36 count Harvest Blush by Sparklies, and I'm stitching this using all the cord for colours, which are a mixture of DMC and overdyed threads, mostly gentle art, I think. So yeah, that's where we are with that one. So quite a lot left to do on that, actually. It looks a small chart, but it's not. It's deceptively big. So that is the Christmas Witch, which I started, was a birthday start for me. I started it on the 3rd of November 2022. So yeah, and it's still not finished. Right, the next one is the second project that I haven't worked on this year. And it's not because I don't like this project, because I really do. The only reason that I haven't stitched on it this year is because I really wanted to focus on Feast a bit more. So this one is charted, this is full coverage, it's charted by Painfree Crafts. It is artwork by Chris Dunn, and it is Simple Pleasures. I'll put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished. And also there's no point in me putting in a picture of where you saw it last year, because it's exactly the same as where it is this year. I haven't worked on it at all, and I know I haven't. So this is where it's currently sitting at. So I'm stitching this one on 28 count easy guide, and this is 2/110 stitch. I started full cross, and then I decided to swap to 10 stitch, and I'm so early into the project, it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't show. But I started this one with Lauren at Flosstube, and this was started on the 13th of January 2023. You know, Lauren has, well, done much more in it than I have. So, yeah, that's where I am with this one. A miserable failure, Lauren, on my part, but a deliberate miserable failure, because I'm not going to start on this one properly until I finish Feast. So it's not a UFO by any means, because I will stitch on it, and I want to stitch on it, and this will be my next Chris Dunn when I've finished Feast. So it could be a while away. Right, so that is Simple Pleasures. Next one. Oh, my box has gone a bit funny, so I apologise if I have to keep bending down. So this one I started on the 24th of February 2023. So this is coming up for 3 years old, and I really just need to crack on and finish this. And I hadn't realised that I haven't taken this out off of the Q-snaps. It's still in it. Sorry, I'm going to take it off the Q-snap for you, because it is a WIP parade, and there's no point me showing you my WIPs if you can't see the whole thing, is there? So yeah, so this has been on the go for a long time. I really would like to finish this one this year, because it's lovely and I do like it, and it deserves to be finished. So I'll take that off there actually. So this is by the Drawn Thread. I bought this as a kit from the Nimble Thimble. Chris is very good with Drawn Thread kits. This is the kitchen garden. This is what it looks like when it's finished. I have stitched on this year. And I will put a picture in of where it was at the end of 2024. And here I am with it now. So this year I've been working, oh goodness, I've worked over this side here, and I think I've done quite a bit on this actually. I've still got the back stitch at the tops of the turnips or onions to put it, onions I think they are, to put in, but I have finished the pepper tree pretty much, and that birdie. And I think there's another bee or a butterfly to go in there as well. This is stitched on 32 count summer khaki by Zweigart, and I'm stitching it in all the called for colours, which are mostly dinky dice, I think. So yeah, dinky dies are MPIs. So yeah, it's beautiful. This it's really beautiful. So hopefully next time I'm stitching on it, I'll finish this bit off over here, and then I can start on the other side, and then it will be done. So yeah, I really like that. But I tend to pull this out once spring is in the air. That's a little spring stitch. Right. way. Right, okay. Yeah, I can't remember if I said I started that on the 24th of February 2023. So yeah, it's been a while, that one. I am just going to put the Q snap back in the thing with it, because back in the project bag with it, just so I don't lose it. Right, next. Oh, we're over the page, so we're on to WIP number 16 now. So halfway pretty much. So this one, I am going to stick my neck on the line and say this is going to be a finish in 2026. It is. So I started this one on the 1st of June 2023. And this one is Rejoice Evermore by Brenda Gervais. So this is what it looks like when it's finished. Super chart, this one. Love this. And I have stitched on this quite a lot this year. I started this along with the lovely Sue, who is one of my viewers. Hi, Sue. And she hasn't finished it yet either, which makes me feel a bit better, Sue, that you haven't either. So yeah, hopefully I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the end of last year. And woo, here I am with it now. So yeah, as you can see, I am on that house. I've got another bird to put in here, and obviously I've got the birds the other side. That border's really easy. It doesn't take much to do that, to be honest. I've got some more 1/1 stitch wording to put in, just a couple of bits, and then obviously that massive great big house, which I love stitching houses. So for me, I'm on the best bit at the moment. This is stitched on 36 count platinum by Saga, and I'm stitching it using all the called for colours, which are a mix of DMC and over dyed threads. So there we go with Rejoice Evermore. Love it, love it. And yeah, like I say, I am going to stick my neck on the line and say I will finish that in 2026 for definite. So, because I've really done the bulk of the work on that one. Right, and I'm going to leave that one out actually, because I might stitch on that later. Okay, so what's next? Right, okay, this one. Now, I showed this one on my last update video because I had stitched on it since I last saw you. This is Winter ABCs by Little House Needleworks, and I started this as a nod to Jolly July on the 1st of July 2023. This is what it looks like when it's finished. It's not the best picture of this to be fair. And this, I'll put a picture in the way you saw it last year. And this is where I currently am with it at the moment. So I'm stitching this on a 32 count fabric from Coffee Craft Fabrics, and I'm stitching this using all of the called for colours, which I think are yeah, DMC and some classic colourworks in there. There's all sorts of issues going on with this one, in my opinion anyway, so I didn't centre it, which is a big issue for me because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and that bugs me that I've done that. The fabric's really frayed quite badly over this side actually, and I need to sort it out. I asked on my last update video whether I should just bin it and start again because it's bugging me so much. I'm stitching it 2/2 on 32 count, and it is a tight weave on this 32 count, and I'm not entirely happy with that either, and I just don't know whether to carry on with it. And a couple of you have said if it's not making you happy, then don't carry on with it. And a couple of you have said, come on Elaine, you've done a bit, quite a bit of it now, why don't you just carry on and finish it? So I'm still like into a bit two minds with this one. So I just don't know. I do like the fabric that it's on. I'm just not happy with it. So I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. I still haven't made my mind up what I want to do. So I don't know. It doesn't make me happy to stitch on it at the moment, but that could change, and then I could regret UFO in it. So I think with that one, if I don't work on that this coming year, then it will be UFOs at the end of next year. We'll see what happens. So it's still a WIP at the minute, but I don't know is the answer. Right, now this one, I think I showed you this on my last video as well, actually. So I have stitched on this year a couple of times. This is a stitch along that I'm doing with Teresa Little Stitcher. This is Family Farm Afghan by WIP. Here is what it looks like when it's finished. So this project's a bit of a different one for me, and I do like it. I haven't got very far with it, but I do like it. I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the end of last year. Did I say? Yeah, I started this on the 1st of September 2023. This was a result of a trip to the Nimble Thimble, and Chris had got it hanging on the wall there, and both Teresa and I fell in love with it. Sorry, I am going to leave this one in the queue stamp because there's not a lot to see anyway, but I've only completed this square here, and I'm on the second square of sky. It's quite effective looking, this, actually. It really is. This is stitched on 18 count fireside by WIP, which is the called for, and I am stitching this 4/2. Seems weird saying that. So yeah, so this is in effect 9 count because you're stitching it over 2, and it uses 4 threads of DMC, which is it eats thread. This project eats it, but you know, it's lovely. And I've decided to be a good girl and go across the top and do all of the sky first. Teresa has done more than me on this, and I think she's completed maybe 4 squares now to my turn. Well, I haven't even completed 2 yet, but I do like this project, but it doesn't come out very often because it's a bit wieldy to manipulate. So that's the only reason, really. I do like it though. It's a nice project. Oh, I'm zipping it up, look, and I haven't put the chart back in. And it all only just fits in what is quite a big project bag, actually. A lovely project bag, but it is a biggie. Okay, so that's that one. What's next? Oh, okay. So I really like this project, and I am also going to stick my neck on the line with this one, and so I'm going to finish this year. So this one is by Lola Crow, and it is Greenhouse of Oddities, and I started this on the 16th of September 2023. I'll put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished, because I've got this as a PDF in Pattern Keeper, and I'll put a picture in of where you saw it at the end of last year. And I'm just going to move the needle minder on this one because it's actually in the middle of the roof of the project, so it needs sorting out. Hang on a minute, otherwise you won't get the full effect. Right, here we go. Okay, here I am with it now. So I have had this out a bit this year. I have. This is stitched on. I mean, I do love it. Look at the bottom part. There's loads to do still, but I do think that I've got a chance of finishing this year. This is stitched on 32 count fabric from Coffee Craft Fabrics. It's gorgeous. I love this colour. I wish I'd bought more of it. And I'm stitching this using the called for DMC. And I love this whole project. I really, really do. Really love it. So that's where I currently am with it. Lots of people have stitched this, and you know, Lola Crow's sales are just amazing. They really, really are. She'd done the Deadly Aquarium as well, which I like. I'm not quite so fussed on that one, but I do like it. Oh, this is stitched 2/2, by the way. Or is it 1/2? Might be 1/2 actually. 1/2. 1/2 on this one. And it is, I think I said it's 32 count, but I think it's 36. Yeah, 36 count. So 36 count, 1/2. Yeah, love it. So yeah, so she bought out Deadly Aquarium, and then this year's sale was Extraordinary Birds, and I really want to stitch that as well. So but I'm not going to buy it or start it or anything until I finish this one, because I'm going to try and be a good girl. Okay. Next one. So the next one was a birthday start for me. So this is currently my only long dog sampler. So I started this on the 3rd of November 2023. I have stitched on it this year, but hardly at all, and for no good reason other than I just haven't got around to it. So this is by Long Dog Samplers, and it is Saga. So it is a massive long dog. Here I put a picture in of where you saw what it looks like when it's finished and where you saw it at the end of last year. And here I am with it now. So I have not done very much, but I have done a little bit. This is stitched on 40 counts even weave in a colourway that Megan from Coffee Craft Fabrics custom dyed for me, because I wanted something that went with this particular thread. So the thread that I'm using is a silk. This is a Mrs. Sada silk in the colourway scale. And I know that I've only got one big hank of this, which I don't think is enough to finish the project. So I have found, I was going to stitch the whole thing in scale, but I haven't got enough. Can't get it anymore. So when it comes to it, I have picked a second colour as well for some of the animals, some of the big animals, so that it's a bit contrasting. But yeah, that's where I am with this one. And I have made a mistake in this already, but I've fudged it. So there we are with this one. I do love it, but it's a long time from being finished, that one. A long time. Okay, next one. So this one I've had out pretty recently. And this is quite small, but it's not as small as you think. So this is Winter Stash by Scattered Seed Samplers. This is what it looks like when it's finished. This is a project I like taking to retreats with me, because it's quite, well, having said that, It's quite a lot of bulk stitching, but actually I've just done a great big frogging session on this, so I'm not going to say it's that easy without too much counting, because it isn't. I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the end of last year. Because I started this, did I just say, on the 20th of November 2023. So yeah, it's a couple of years old now, this one. And here I am with it now. So I have stitched on it a bit this year. This is stitched on 36 count, fibre on a whim, milk and honey. And I am stitching it using the called for DMC. Yeah, I just had a big frog visit on that squirrel's tail there, and I had to pick it out and re-stitch it. So yeah, so there we are with Winter Stash. So don't know when that one will be finished, but you know, it is kind of on the home straight, that one. There's some little 1/1 squirrels on that I'm kind of putting off doing, if I'm really honest. Next one. So, right, we're onto this pile round the corner here now. So this is I have stitched on this recently too. So this one is by the Cricket Collection, a very popular chart, this one. This is winter. I have previously stitched summer and autumn, so once I finish this I've only got spring to do. I started this one on the 2nd of November 2024, so in actual fact, so I've carried over from 2023, how many projects? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 projects. But in actual fact, so I started Winter Stash on the 20th of November 2023, and this one is my first project in 2024 that I'm carrying over. So, and this is a year later, so this was the 2nd of November 24. I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the end of last year, and here I am with it now. And this will be a finish next year for sure. It will. So this one I'm stitching on 28 count charcoal slate by Sparkleys, which is a gorgeous opalescent. You can't really see it that well. And I am stitching this using all the call for colours except that white. So the white is sulky white rather than the MC white. So yeah, so I did swap that out because I think my stitching, white stitching, looks neater with that, with the sulky. So yeah, there we are with winter. So yeah, that one will be a finish next year for sure. And so that's that one. And then next we have, oh, I love this project, but I don't get around stitching on it that often. Okay, so this one is a Teresa Kogut, and this is Wherever There Are Birds. This is what it looks like when it's finished. I love this, love it. I started this one on the 10th of November 2024. I'll put a picture in of what it looked like when you saw it at my end of year WIP parade last year. And here I currently am with it now. So I've been working on that big bird. This is stitched on the called for, which is 36 count Grandpa's Sleeve by XG Designs. And I'm stitching this using all the called for colours, which are a mixture of DMC and over dyed threads. I love stitching this. I know it doesn't seem like it because I've been stitching on it for over a year, but I do love it. And the fabric's just glorious, absolutely glorious. I'm really hoping that at Big Stitch next year there'll be XG Designs fabric again, because I'd really like to get some more of that rampart sleeve. It is really nice. I have got some other XG Designs fabric, but yeah, it's a bit pricey to buy because we have to pay the extra tax on it if we order from Europe. Okay, what's next? Okay, so big one that's on, the only project I've got on scroll bars now. So I'm going to reach around here and get them. Okay, so this is my chatelaine. So I started this one on the 3rd of November 2024. So this was a birthday start. And I do love this one. So let me just check I've got it up the right way around. It's that way. I'll put a picture in of what this looks like when it's finished. And I will put a picture in of where you saw it at the end of last year. And here I am with it at the moment. So I have stitched on this year, not masses, but I have. Still working on that centre mandala bit. This is stitched using all of the called for, which are just glorious to work with. So there's petite treasure braid on there. There's silk lame, which I absolutely love. There's silks. I mean, it's just a pleasure to work on. This is stitched on 28 count. I think it's called Silver Linings or something like that, by Pole Stitches. It's the 28 count even weave, and honestly, this project, it's just a pleasure. It's just a pleasure to stitch on. I don't get it out so often, I think, because it's a bit of a faff. So I have got the paper chart and the PDF, and I mostly work off of the PDF, but I do have the paper chart for reference as well with this, because I'm so frightened to getting anything wrong with it. Touch wood, so far I haven't. But if I've got this out, I've got it in Good Notes, and so I have it on one tablet, and then I've got another tablet as well, so that I've got the thread legend easily available too. So look at it. Oh, the colours are glorious. So yeah, beautiful this, but it's a long way from being finished. A long way from being finished, but I do like it a lot. Right. So did I say that sparkling peacock mandala? I can't remember if I said, but that's what it is. Okay, next one. So back to little projects again. So I started this one. So that's it for 2024. So I'm carrying over 3 projects. That's all from 2024. So yay, go me. That's not so bad, is it? Then we're on to 2025. So this one I started on the 2nd of March 2025, and I can remember why I started this. I started this because I really wanted to stitch something spring-like, and I didn't have that many spring charts. I've got lots of Halloween, but not much spring-like, to be honest. So this one, yeah, so I started this on the 2nd of March 2025, and here is what it looks like when it's finished. How cute is this? Super cute. And here I am with it now. Obviously there's no before picture because this is this year. Here I am with it now. So I finished one of the bunnies. I can't remember what I'm stitching this on. I've got a feeling this might be a piece of light Sanditon by Swan Bay Fabrics, actually, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of linen. Really like it. This is a 36 count, and I am stitching this using all the call for colours. Yeah, isn't that lovely? I have stitched on it obviously this year because I started it this year, but I haven't stitched on it for quite a while actually. It did cross my mind the other day to get this one out because I was starting to feel a bit like Christmas is over and I want to stitch spring now. So that's that one. Then next, so last year or earlier this year I finished Floral Etchings 2. And so I started Floral Etchings. This is the chart. I haven't stitched on this for a while either because this is more of a spring summery stitch. Oops. I've got all of the etchings series. So this is by Heart in Hand. Sorry, I forgot to say what that chart was, the last one, didn't I? Spring Frolic is Spring Frolic at Bunny Hill and it's by Brenda Javale. I can't remember if I said. Going a bit nuts today. Okay, so that's Floral Etchings. I'm stitching this using all the called for. Oh, and I've still got this one in the Q-snap. I didn't realise. I'll have to take it out because otherwise you won't be able to see it properly. I should have been a bit better organised than I'm not, and I really apologise for that. I'm sure you're stitching while you're watching me anyway, so you're not really watching me, you're listening to me. So you can listen to me ramble on a minute while I take this one out of the Q-snap as well, because I have failed to do that. I've also got a working thread on the go with this one as well. I'm really organised, aren't I? Right. Okay, obviously there's no before picture, and here I am with it now. Let me move that needle minder a little bit. Might be a bit better. So I've finished the first flower and I've started on the second one. And this is on a lovely piece of fabric. This is a neutral from Coffee Craft Fabrics in a 36 count. And I used this same fabric for the first floral etchings that I did actually. Glorious, huh? And I'm using all the called for colours on this one. So this is 36 count 1/2. Anything I've got on 36 count is 1/2. And these days, the majority of the time, if I'm stitching something 32 count, it's 1/2 as well. So, okay, that's that one. I will just put that back in the thing. I had a hankering to get that out the other day, and I can't remember why I didn't. But never mind. Right, I started that one on the 22nd of March 2025. Then we have a bit of a gap. Not because I didn't start anything, but I think what I did start I finished. Yeah, go me. But then I was hankering for a new start, and so I started this one. Oh, I love stitching this. Okay, so this is by Plum Street Samplers, and this is Winter Moon. That's what it looks like when it's finished. Big chart, this one. Big chart, big but beautiful. How gorgeous is that? I really want to get the other ones in this series as well. This is the only one I've got at the moment. I started this on the 1st of June 2025. And helps you having the right way around, Elaine. And here I am with it at the moment. So, if you can see that properly, I've been doing the grouting between the bricks on the house. I've started on the roof as well. This is 36 count Picture This Plus Legacy. And I'm stitching this using all of the called for colours. So yeah, long way to go with this one, but It's a super nice stitch. I really like it. And it's also one of my favourite linen, which is Picture This Plus Legacy. So that's that one. Right, we're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there. Thank you for like holding out with me. Okay, so next one. So this one I love stitching as well. So this one I started on the 1st of July 2025, and I started this as a start along with Stuart's in Stitches. So this is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. Here's what it looks like when it's finished. Lots of people have stitched this. I mean, it's just a fab chart. In fact, my friend Sally of Flossie Sews and Grows has just finished it. So, and it looked awesome. Absolutely awesome. Love it. Look at that. Do like me a Blackbird chart. Anyway, this is stitched on a 36 count from Coffee Craft Fabrics. This is where I am with it at the moment. So I finished that house in the middle, and I'm moving out to the side because I really don't want to leave all that border till the end, basically. So this is where I currently am with it. It's gorgeous, and I love it on this piece of fabric as well. Really nice. So Stuart started in a different spot to me. I don't know, I haven't seen his out lately either, so I don't know how he's getting on with it. I do like it. I'd like to get it out more often, but you know, I need about 10 hands, I think, to stitch on everything that I'd really want to get out as often as I can. Anyway, that's where we are with Away We Ride. Look at that, it's gorgeous. The house was some stitching, I'll tell you, it really was. But yeah, really like that chart. And then oh, we're on the last couple now. Oh no, I've got 31 whips. I forgot one. Okay. I lied. I told you I'd got 30. I've got 31. Okay, right. Next one. So I started this one on the 1st of August 2025, and this is one that I do every year with a marvellous group of ladies. So this is by Painfree Lane. This is Humble Abode. That's what it looks like when it's finished. Look at the birds jumping over the house. How cool are they? And the pumpkins on the roof. So this is one of the fancy blankets. I'm a very big fan of the fancy blankets, as are the ladies who sell these with me. We start a new one every year on the 1st of August. So this was this year's. I think everybody else has finished or nearly finished except me. Here I am with it. I'm not far off a finish. I will definitely finish this one next year. This is on 36 count Mountain Air fabric in the colourway Pioneer Trails. So there we go, there's that one. And I am stitching this using all the cord for DMC. There is an error on this one. I did miscount stitching the house. I could miscount it by one stitch, so it is out by one, but I fudged it, so it kind of brought it back in line with the rest again. So that is that one. Next, so this was a very recent new start, and I started this along with my friends Susie and Teresa. Susie's finished it. I haven't. I have not stitched on it lately. I think I've only stitched on it a couple of times. This is Night Riders by Love Poppet, and I started this at Halloween on the 31st of October this year. It's glorious. Really, really nice chart, this one. Look at that lovely witch and the beautiful moon. The moon is lovely. Oh, and Sally, I can't believe I nearly forgot that you're stitching this with us as well. That's Sally from Flossie Sews and Grows. So here I am with mine. It's a bit of a pathetic start, but you know, there we are with it. So there's my start. I think I've stitched on it a couple of times. This is stitched on 36 count Haunted by Picture This Plus, and there I've started in the middle with the broom and the moon. That's as far as I've got with it at the moment. So like I say, I've only had that one out a couple of times, literally. So that's that one, which is in, look at this gorgeous project bag, which I was gifted this year by the lovely Anne-Marie that came to her first Essex Needles retreat. So much appreciated that bag, Anne-Marie. And then finally, the new start that I nearly forgot about, and this is a very recent new start, as in I started this on Christmas Eve, which is probably why I just flicked through my book of days and didn't really think about putting in that I'd had a new start on my book of days. That sounded a bit waffly, sorry about that. Right, anyway, so this one is by the Witchy Stitcher. I've got this on PDF, so I'll have to put in a picture here of what it looks like when it's finished. This is called The Graveyard Wander by the Witchy Stitcher. I am stitching this on 36 count silver grey by Saga, and here's where I've got to with it. So I've pretty much stitched his face. Oh, I do like it, look. How cool is he? So I'm stitching this, yeah, using all the call for DMC 36 count silver grey. So there we go, 31 WIPs is what I've got. And I started the year with 29. So that's, you know, that's not too bad, is it? I can live with that, to be fair. So there we go, that's all my WIPs. Right guys, I hope you've enjoyed that. I haven't done too bad, an hour and 20 minutes. I think that's pretty good. I am going to add my finishes on now, so I'm going to pause this video and then add the finishes on. So if you don't want to see the finishes, then you know, you can by all means go. It just remains for me to wish you a happy new year, and I hope I will see you all again in 2026. So I'm just going to pause the video now for those of you that would like to see what I've finished this year. Okay, here we go with my finishes. So first up is the sheep calendar, which I stitched this year with my friend Stitchy Sally. And I've stitched a month for every month of the year, basically, so it's kept me going all through the year, this one. So each one is an individual little finish on their own. So here's January, which I have fully finished, as you can see, on a little bit of tartany fabric. These are all stitched on 36 count vintage country mocha in the called for DMC. Sorry, with the exception, the white is sulky white, the rest is DMC. And these are stitched 1/2. This is February. Cute. I know they're not very straight, but they're all right. They're just going on a little easel in my house, so I don't really mind. And then the others I have yet to fully finish. So here we are with March. So I have cut these ones out ready to go. That's March. Cute, huh? April. And these used like the same palette of DMC all the way through. May. The only one thing with May is I swapped out the colour of the sun for a more yellow rather than the called for, which was more of a orangey sort of colour. So that was May. And June. June, I'd say, probably took the most stitching because of that big hill there. So that's June. And then the others I haven't got round to cutting out yet because I've only just finished December on this piece of fabric. So again, all in Vintage Country Mocha. There's July, August, September. And then we have October, which I think was my favourite, so I really loved that pumpkin. November was super cute as well. And finally, December, he was really sweet as well to stitch. So I really enjoyed doing this sheep chart all year long with Sally. I know there's quite a few other people out there now that have started doing the sheep chart. I know Karen the Stitching Owl, I think she started it, and my friend Bo that comes to the Essex Needles retreat, she started it. So yeah, so there's a couple of people out there that are stitching sheep now. Right, some of the other finishes I've had this year. Now this one is hanging, this is the biggest finish I've had this year, and it's hanging up in my house. So I'm going to have to stick a picture in of this one because I didn't want to take it down. So this one I finished much earlier in the year. This is by Long Dog Samplers, and it is called Clamfire PG. So this is a sampler of Welsh love spoons, which was obviously appropriate to the fact that I live in Wales on Anglesey, and it was always my intention to try and finish this piece when I moved from Essex to Wales. So I finally did it, kind of a bit of a nearly a year and a half after the event or whatever, but I did do it. So I stitched this on 28 count even weave in the colourway Knox from Chromatic Alchemy, who's no longer trading, and I stitched it using Dinky Dye silks, which I can't remember the names for now. Oh, and the variegated silk was called Peacock Fuchsia from XG Designs, but the other silks on it were Dinky Dyes. So yes, I also put in a bit of petite treasure braid in silver just to give it a little bit of sparkle as well. So I was very proud to finish that this year, because that had been a WIP since 2021, so it was a big finish for me. I also finished Floral Etchings 2. So I showed you Floral Etchings earlier. Again, Floral Etchings 2 is hanging up in my house. So I will take a picture of that and I will put it in here for you. So again, you know, really pleased with that finish. That was stitched on 36 count fabric from Coffee Craft Fabrics, the same fabric that I'm stitching Floral Etchings on. So, and it was stitched using all the call for colours. So was really pleased with that little finish, and I can't wait to finish the other one and hang it up with it. And then I finished this one. So this is Something Wicked by La Di Da. Loved it. I loved stitching this. It reads, by the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes, which of course is a very famous Shakespearean quote. But I stitched this using all the called for colours, and this is also on a piece of fabric by Megan at Coffee Craft Fabrics. This was a 36 count, so I stitched this 1/2, and on the back it's just got some spooky potions and whatever fabric on it. So that was my little pillow. Yeah, so that was that one. Really pleased with that. And I also finished, so from the Fancy Blacket sale for 2024, we stitched Painfree Lane's Fancy Blacket shoe. This is mine. Here's what it looked like when it's finished. Cool, huh? And I stitched this on the called for fabric, which was, I think it's linen by Weeks Dye Works, but in a 36 count. But the fabric was gifted to me by my friend Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows. And I stitched this using all the called for DMC. I really enjoyed stitching this, actually, I really did. So this was with all the Fancy Blacket ladies, and with this one I just finished it with some cobwebs on the back. So, and it's quite a big pillow, this one actually. Right, they're the only ones I fully finished, I think. Oh no, so the next one is hanging up in my house, and it's a small one, this one. So this one is by Tiny Modernist, and it's called Twilight Moon, and I did this as a stitch along with Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows. I stitched this on 36 count. I can't remember what the colourway was. It was the called for anyway. It was a blue from Saga. And I stitched it using the Night Garden thread palette, which came out, I think, at Nashville, and was for a whole series of Night Garden charts by various designers, which they produced for Nashville this year. These threads were from Threadworks, and they were specifically, like I say, for this chart and the other ones in the series. So I really enjoyed stitching this, really enjoyed it. It was I think it was stitched on 32 count, not 36 actually, and I stitched it 1/2. So yeah, really liked that one. And then this one I haven't fully finished yet, shamefully enough. So this is one of the Animal Crackers series from Stacey Nash. This is Monroe. This is what he looks like completed, except he's not fully finished as a stand-up yet, but hey ho, that will come hopefully soon. I stitched him on 36 count Vintage Country Mocha from Zweigart, and I stitched him using all of the called for colours, and then he's finished off with a little mother of pearl button on his little jerkin that I had in my stash. So that's Monroe. So really pleased with him. And then I finished a Jeanette Douglas piece that I stitched with Stitchy Sally. We did this as a sheep stitch this year. This was Chubby You by Jeanette Douglas. It's hanging on the wall in my house, so again I'll put a picture in of what it looks like where it's hanging up in my home. I can't remember. It's stitched on a 36 count, I think, or a 40 count, one of the two. And I stitched it using all the call for colours, but it's dead cute. A real cute chart. I really enjoyed stitching that with Sally. And then next one is another Animal Cracker that I've recently finished. So these I'm stitching the Animal Crackers as part of the Cheshire Stitchers stitch along that we're doing. So, and there's several ladies that are participating in this. So my second finish for this year with Animal Crackers is Clovis. Here's Clovis. She's gorgeous. I really love her. She is stitched on the called for. So this is 36 count needle bling designs, Shrekky's Tan. And I've stitched this in all of the called for colours. So yeah, I just need to finish her and Monroe off, basically. She has got a little needle book that comes with her, and I may stitch that as well, but I might not. I'm not that bothered really with those. And then my final finish to show you is a very recent finish. So this one's by Primrose Cottage Stitches, and this is the Salem Sisters Apothecary. This is what it looks like finished. Again, I stitched this with Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows for her birthday. This is stitched on a 36 count from Megan at Coffee Craft Fabrics, and I stitched this using a black silk. It was a Gloriana called Ancient Black, and I put in a bit of petite treasure braid in the colour silver to add a little bit of bling to it. So that was that one. Like I say, a really recent finish. And that, guys, is all my finishes for this year. So I feel I've had quite a productive year. I've really enjoyed my stitching this year. I've enjoyed, you know, in the past I've done WIP Go. This was the second year that I didn't do WIP Go, and I'm not going to do it in 2026 either. I'm quite happy just moseying along, you know, without making any hard and fast plans, because if I make hard and fast plans, I don't stick to them. The more plans I make, the less I want to do them. So I'm just not gonna. I'm just going with the flow, so to speak. So it just remains for me to say thank you so much for all of your support this year. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're new and you've just stumbled across me, I really hope that you'll come back and visit with me again. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all my WIPs as much as I've enjoyed showing them to you today, because I really have enjoyed doing that. Any questions, you know, just drop me a message and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you very much. I just want to wish you all a very, very happy new year to you and your families. I hope you get some lovely stitching time in on New Year's Day. And if you're doing 12 for 12, hats off to you, and I can't wait to see all your starts. But I've got a new start on New Year's Day with Michelle at Mama Loves You GB, and we're going to start a Welsh sampler, which I'm really looking forward to, and mine's all kitted and ready to go, so that's exciting. So yeah, thanks very much, guys, for all your support this year. Really appreciate it. Happy New Year to you all, and have a lovely, lovely evening celebrating tonight, if that's what you choose to do, or get some more stitches in if that's also what you choose to do. So take care, guys, and I will see you in 2026. Bye for now.